Welcome everyone to the Raging Hot Mic podcast. Today we'll be talking about no one else but Mr. Reno Omokri. I know you all know him. He's popular on social media, or he's infamous to me on social media. He's the lawyer. He's an author, and he claims he's a human rights activist. But I think he's more of a content creator. I think he's more of a politician, but just that a stomach infrastructure politician, but just that he does is on social media, using his education to deceive the gullible few on social media. You all know that his name was submitted. He was amongst those whose names were shortlisted and submitted to the National Assembly for ambassadorial appointments, career and non-career. And then they haven't been posted yet, or they haven't been confirmed by the Senate yet. I'll keep you guys posted. If you're watching us, please, or if you're watching me, smash the like button, subscribe, follow, and drop your comments. If you want me to cover a particular topic, then just let me know. So, Mr. Reno Omokri, all of a sudden, I'll bring up some things he said in the past. In the lead up to the 2023 elections and even in the 2019 elections, he's been solidly behind Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. He's always thrown his support for Atiku, and he's always gone on social media. I think he was his aide at the point during the election, trying to convince people about Atiku. Reno Omokri worked for President Goodluck Jonathan back in 2011 to 2015 in a role as the special assistant on new media to President Goodluck Jonathan. Now, after the end of Goodluck Jonathan's tenure, I think he moved over to the next politician. He has to have a job. He does nothing again. Has no business, has nothing. He only lives to run commentary and to be compensated with political appointment in order to make more money. That's all he does. Forget all those bestseller stories he's telling you. He loves traveling. He's eyeing one political position or the other. I can tell you for sure. Now let's go to his quotes about presidents. In the lead up to 2023 election, Reno Omokri made lots of very personal statements about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I can't even say many of them because it's not even because it's a podcast. You don't go that far. He made so much. When I mean personal, it has nothing to do with policies or plans or whatever of the president. It was more on personal grounds. He was too divisive. Now, all of a sudden, when he was making those statements, he went on Sherry Okim Baloe's podcast called Mycom Podcast. And then when Sherry was asking him some questions as regards if he would take up any political appointment if President Bola Tinubu offered him, these are his words. It will never happen. I can't do it. It's just against my principles. Some people can do that. It's not in my DNA. I can't do it. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. I wish Bola Tinubu well if eventually is sworn in and then the court upholds his victory, but I can never work with him. This is a statement you can check on the internet. You can fast check. This is a statement he made just 2 years ago in 2023. I'm not telling you 50 years ago. This is a statement Reno Omokri made about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He was never, is against his principles, it's against his DNA. He would never take up any appointment with the man, Tinubu. Then he also mentioned that Tinubu's camp had reached out to him and had offered him lots of positions and lots of cash, but he wasn't accepting it because he was never going to work for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This is what he said. And I keep telling you guys, you take people not just by their words, but what they don't say. You can't die for these politicians. You can't. They are not what they are not the you can't die. That's not the hill to die on. These guys criticize just to be noticed and just to load their pockets. Most of them. This is why they never leave office. And that is why you see people telling you, I made 50 billion, I'm a private individual, I don't need government money. Oh, I opened an airline, I have a company. But why do you keep running? And why do you keep being in corridor of power? Why do you keep being around power if you are that made? Because there's no service you're rendering. You go to the Senate, how many bills have these guys passed? Oh, he's a multi-billionaire. He's this one, Mr. This. He ran an investment company, 70 trillion. But what impact have you done as a politician? How have you affected the lives of individuals around you? None. So you are only in power in order to not only enrich yourself, but enrich your friends, enrich your family, and then enrich your generations. This is not about service. This is not, forget what they tell you they had before. No. This is about personal interest. This is the same reason why these politicians move from one party to another. Today he's in AD. I sat one day and I asked my friend, I said, hold on. Most of those people in APC that have joined PDP or PDP from APC, what is their political ideology? I met somebody, a friend of mine, he's anti-immigration, he's anti-many liberal policies, he's a conservative to the core. But he was telling me he's a progressive. I say, hold on, do you know the meaning of the words you are using? You just like to use big words because it sounds, how do you say a party, just like the APC, who is for Sharia law, who says they have to make Sharia laws operative in the north, who say they are against alcohol, who say they are for child marriage, for kids to get married. How can they call themselves progressives? Do you guys know the meaning of progressives? Progressives are liberals. Progressives are the left. You are progressive, but you are against importation of alcohol in your region. You are for child marriage, for kids, 12, 11, 10 years, getting married. You are against people from another state coming to claim they are from your state. You want to keep your state the way it is. Oh, we don't want these people in this state. This land belongs to these people. This is a historically a land, but you are progressive. They just speak big English or big to deceive themselves. They don't know the meaning of their words. A progressive is a liberal. And let me even tell you, progressive is an extreme. You have the right, you have the left. The right are the conservative or conservatives. The left are the liberals. Have the moderate left, the moderate right. This is the reason why you can see someone who says he's a leftist, but he's against abortion. Because he's moderate, he's in the middle. And some of their policies sometimes is confusing because you also see moderate rightists who are in the right. They could be like, you have the rights who are all against taxes. They always want government to reduce taxes. You have the left who are all for taxing people. The right, more of less government control of the economy. I'm talking of American politics, not control of the economy. Let the economy work the way it is. The leftists always want government to get involved and distribute free this, free buses, free this. You have the moderate ones who are in the middle, because the left are for abortion, the right are against it, but you have the moderate ones. There's some moderate leftists who will tell you they have their faith. But you now have the extreme left. These are the progressives. These are the people that believe no boundaries. Open the border. This is a political belief. So how can someone who is conservative in the mid, who is conservative extreme, be a progressive again? Can't mix those two. But in Nigeria, you see political party APC say they are progressive and they are conservative. Wow. What is, do you know the definition of what you're talking about? This is Reno Omokri, just like a typical politician. This is all he said. Then turn around. He turns around when he's nominated as an ambassador to represent Nigeria. He turns around to say, the president has taught me the meaning of forgiveness and has helped me become to better understand what patriotism entails. In short, Christ-likeness is demonstrated in him. What has patriotism got to do with this appointment? So you can't serve Nigeria without being appointed? Do you understand? No, this is not patriotism. You're taking the appointment to did you notice the sudden change in criticism of P2B? Immediately Tinubu came into power. Did you notice how Reno Omokri kept attacking Obi and attacking obedience? He told you he was making a U-turn. All of a sudden, Reno Omokri, who said at the same time there was Christian genocide back then under President Muhammad Buhari, all of a sudden now he changes and he says Christians are no longer being killed. This is a man you can't trust. This man is worse than a chameleon. This is a man that you can't bank his words. You can't take any of his words. Mr. Reno Omokri, you can't bank any of his words. He talks, he doesn't even look at the time to say good morning or good evening. He can say today he's a Muslim, he can convert to Islam just for political purpose. These are the kind of people I keep telling you guys, you don't fall for them. Forget about speaking big English. Now, all of a sudden, accepting an appointment is now being patriotic. Don't get me wrong, yeah. But that is not what he means. Because he just said 2 years ago that he will never work for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's against it. Do you know the meaning of DNA? DNA doesn't change. DNA is so strong that even your kids' DNA, your nephew, your niece, your grandparents, they are so tight. It's close. Apart from tooth cavity, which you can use to know who's related to who, DNA is the strongest. It's against his DNA, but he's taking the appointment 2 years later. So who is deceiving who? Was he making all this noise for this appointment? Was he preparing to be in Tinubu's good books? This is a man that served under Jonathan for 3 years. He has made 3 U-turns. From Jonathan, he switched to Atiku. And mind you, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was one of those who opposed Jonathan and one of those who made sure Jonathan didn't get a second tenure. I'm not against working for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. They are their own politicians. But can he tell me what are his principles? His principles are stomach infrastructure and money. That is it. Anywhere belle face, drop belle full. Mr. Reno Omokri, his principles are chop belle full, anywhere belle face. All of a sudden, he can never take the appointment when he is offered to him. It's against his principle. Never. He's wishing Mr. Tinubu well. This is after saying so many personal things I can't even say here. All of a sudden now, you are not ashamed. You go to the same man to bow down and kiss the ring. Spirit of forgiveness. What is Christ like? What are you doing? What are you talking about? What has Christ like got to do with your principles and DNA? Look at the statements he made in 2019. He said P2B is a very charismatic person. He's a very well-spoken person and a very engaging person. I suggested P2B to Atiku in 2019. I was one of the people who convinced Atiku to pick Obi. I knew his strength. I'm putting him in 2019. All of a sudden, 2023, 4 years after, once there's election, he becomes your friend. Just make sure there's not election, because once there's an election, he changes his DNA, he changes his principles. Mr. Reno Omokri is the only man that his DNA changes every 4 years when there's election. As soon as presidential election comes up, his DNA changes, his principle changes to something we don't understand. All of a sudden, in 2023, he said, show me the signature projects which will be built in Anambra State. Oh, you didn't see the signature project when you introduced him to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. It's possible he wasn't even in the one that introduced him to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. It's possible he wasn't even in the room where that was discussed. But all of a sudden, he's claiming he's the one that introduced Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. And then P2B did not build any major roads or industries. He only maintained what was there. But you are the one that took credit for introducing him to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. So you see what is happening. P2B was Alhaji Atiku Abubakar's running mate in 2019. Reno worked for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar's 2019 team. So P2B was in the same family with him. 2023, P2B contested on his own differently from Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Then P2B became his enemy. Because no more was he with Atiku. He was now an independent whatever candidate, or he was contesting under a different party. So he became an enemy. And that is why Reno now claims he did not complete his projects. After the election again, Tinubu won. He has changed and said this president is Christ-like. This man has no shame. This man has no shame. Mr. Reno Omokri has no shame. And this is a kind of person that young people, young adults, young growing up kids, the youths should not idealize. This is the kind of person that in times to come, in generations to come, it will be said that he was not able to stand up and be counted. This is a hungry man who's looking for money, who's looking for political appointment. Because you cannot make this statement in 2 years. This is less than 24 months. All your principles have changed. Remember, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was a governor for 8 years in Lagos State. So it's not that he didn't know the man. So what has changed? You now got to know him personally because he promised you appointment. And I feel for anybody who's going to work under him or work with him as an ambassador. This is a man, a glorified vibes man, a glorified master MC, master of ceremony, who just talks whatever you want him to talk. Just feed him, give him food. My people, that should be all for today. But let's be mindful of people like this, and let's not take their words to the bank or ever believe whatever they say. They are all gunning, they are all working, they are all fighting for their stomach. Do not fight with them or for them. Just realize it is not worth dying for. It's not worth the hill to die on. Thanks. Have a good weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.